Hi everybody, it's Ruth Hull here, and I'm here to talk to you about energy and how to get energy and eat for energy instead of feeling tired and drained and worn out all the time. If you're struggling with your energy levels, if you keep having crashes in your energy and you're just feeling really tired, then you need to look at not just what you're eating, but how and when you're eating, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to chat about today. When you think of energy and how to maintain it, how to get continued even energy throughout the day, you've got to think about your blood sugars. What I mean by blood sugars is the amount of glucose you have in your blood at any one time. Glucose is the molecule that our cells use to generate energy. And without glucose, we can't make energy and our body just stops functioning and eventually we die. Every single thing we eat is converted into glucose at some stage in the process. And so everything we eat contributes to our blood glucose levels. I also talk about them as blood sugar levels. And if you keep getting energy crashes, if you find you're craving a lot of carbohydrates and sugars, especially if you can't go for very long without eating, if you just feel you need to snack all the time or have lots and lots of meals throughout the day, if you get a lot of brain fog and your mind just isn't thinking clearly, if you get a lot of mood swings, very irritable especially, all of these can indicate that you are having problems with your blood sugars. You can go to your doctor and get them tested. Actually, a lot of pharmacies will just even do a finger prick test to check your glucose levels, or you can go to your GP and get some proper sugar studies done, some proper glucose tolerance tests and insulin tests. But what do you do if you have a blood glucose problem diagnosed by your doctor? He might say you're hypoglycemic, he might say you're hyperglycemic, might say you're on the verge of diabetes, or you might just think that your blood sugar is okay, but you have a lot of swings in your energy. You cannot maintain nice sustained energy throughout the day. You can't keep your brain functioning. You've got a lot of craving for carbohydrates and sugar, a lot of mood swings. So what do you do? I think that's really what you want to know. Okay, it's actually quite simple how to balance your blood sugars, and you can balance them yourselves within a couple of weeks. There's a few rules. The first is to understand how the foods you eat convert into glucose. So carbohydrates, that's your breads, your pastas, your potatoes, your rice, your grains. They break down very quickly. Well, they break down into glucose, and your proteins and your fats break down a lot slower. They aren't always even broken down into glucose straight away. So if you are having blood sugar swings, it means that your body is not getting an even continual amount of glucose in the blood. So often people with blood sugar swings are eating too many carbohydrates, or they're eating carbohydrates by themselves. I'll give you an example because I think I'm making this a little bit long-winded. Basically, if this morning you had a piece of toast for breakfast, or a bowl of cereal, say, I don't know, some oats or some Rice Krispies or something like that, you basically have carbohydrates for breakfast. So your toast or your cereal will very quickly break down into glucose and go into your bloodstream and be used up by your cells quickly. If you have nothing else to eat until lunchtime, your blood sugars will drop. So this is where they should be. They should be nice and stable. But you have your cereal, your blood sugars come up here, you have your toast nice and high. Very quickly, your cells use it up, your blood sugars drop, and then they can go low. And then you'll have very low blood sugars, and you will become very hungry. You will crave usually something that you can eat quickly because your body needs more sugar. So you will crave carbohydrates, you'll crave sugar, you'll want pasta, bread, sweets, fizzy drinks like Coke, sugar in your coffee, and your body will need it. Your body will be craving it because it needs more sugar, because there's not enough glucose left in your blood. If you have, so that's if you have your carbohydrates, breaks them down to glucose quickly and used up quickly. If you have a protein or nice healthy fats, good fat, so good proteins would be like meat, chicken, beef, eggs, cheese, nuts can be a good protein, tofu if you're vegetarian, your lentils, your dal, your chickpeas, things like that, all those nice proteins. Or good fats. By good fats, I mean, I always talk about good fats and bad fats. So bad fats would be your deep fried chips and your Kentucky fried chicken. Your good fats would be things like your oily fish and seeds and nuts and avocados, olive oil, things like that. I actually, if you look in the description below, I will add in, or I have, hopefully by the time you see this, put in a list you can download of good foods, your good fats, your good carbohydrates, your good proteins. But anyway, I always digress, don't I? If you have a good protein or good fat, it breaks down very slowly into glucose. So you've got more of a slow, more maintained blood glucose level. So this is where you want your glucose level to be at all times. Remember, this is too high, this is low. You eat your carbohydrate, you get a nice quick burst of sugar, and then it dips. You eat a good protein or good fat, it breaks down more slowly, so you get a little more sustained, and then it will start to dip. Okay. At some stage, I'll do a blog on this, and I will put on some charts on my blog so you can actually make more sense of what I'm talking about. So you need to eat foods that break down slowly. So if you want carbohydrates, they need to be more complex carbohydrates that break down more slowly. For example, something like quinoa is a very nice carbohydrate. It breaks down slowly, as well as something like sweet potatoes. But ideally, you need to have a good protein or good fat. It'll break down slowly. It'll sustain that energy for many hours until your next meal. You won't get that drop in energy. You won't get the craving for sugars or carbs. You won't get the moodiness because your body's running out of sugar. You won't get that. So a really simple little rule of how to eat to sustain your energy, to balance your blood sugars, is every time you eat, have a good protein or good fat with your food. In other words, never, ever, ever eat a carbohydrate by itself. So that piece of toast for breakfast or that bowl of cereal for breakfast is not a good way to eat for energy. You're going to end up with a sugar drop at some stage. If you want to have cereal for breakfast, add in a nice handful of nuts or seeds, because they are good healthy fats that will maintain your blood sugars. If you want to have a toast for breakfast, have it with an egg. Have egg with your toast. I'm not a big fan of toast for breakfast because I'm not a big fan of gluten. I'll talk about that in other videos, but try to avoid toast. But if you want to have a toast, if you have your gluten-free toast, some people have gluten-free toast, some people have rice crackers, have it with an egg, have it with some cheese, have it with a little bit of meat if you want. You need some form of protein or fat to sustain your blood sugars. A piece of toast, bowl of cereal, a low-fat yogurt, all those things people have for breakfast are dreadful. They're dreadful for your blood sugars. They're dreadful for your energy. You will get an energy dip if you just eat that. At lunchtime, if you're in the office and you need to take food to work, or if you have kids who struggle with their energy, don't just give them a plain sandwich, because sandwich, like a jam sandwich or something like that, is just carbohydrate. You need that protein, you need that meat. If you're vegetarian, you need those good vegetarian proteins like your tofu, your lentils. Cheese is a nice protein. Again, cheese can be bad for some people, and I will do a video on dairy at some stage. It's not bad for everybody. If you are okay with cheese, then eat it. But you need some form of good protein and some form of good fat with every meal. So that's the number one rule of balancing your blood sugars and eating for energy, eating for sustained energy, so that you can cut out those food cravings, you can cut out those mood swings, you can get rid of those energy crashes, and you can just feel good all the time, is eat protein or protein or fat with every meal, a good protein or good fat. The second rule is, if you are a bit of a chocoholic, like I am, if you like your sweets and you like your sugar and you want a little bit of a treat, that's okay. You don't have to cut out everything just to get your energy back. Some people can, and I admire them, and I think that's fantastic. If you can cut out all sugar, that's the best thing you can do for your body. If you're a bit of an addict and you still want a piece of chocolate, have it after your meal. Have it after a proper, healthy meal. Don't have it in the middle of the day. A lot of people, they get that afternoon crash, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when your energy levels just plummet after lunch. Firstly, they won't plummet if you have a really good, healthy lunch with protein and fat. But secondly, if you get an energy crash in the afternoon, don't have a packet of chips, don't have a quick sandwich, don't have a muffin, don't have a bar of chocolate, and don't have a piece of fruit, because all of those will just give you another little energy burst and then another energy crash. You want to have, if you want to snack in the afternoon, have a protein or fat. So again, in the PDF you can download from here, I've got some really good snack ideas as well. But you can have a handful of nuts, or you could have a boiled egg as a snack. I actually, some people might think this is disgusting, but I try to keep some boiled eggs in my fridge, and I try to keep a rotisserie chicken in the fridge, a cooked chicken in the fridge. And then throughout the day, if I'm hungry, I just stand in the fridge, the door open, and I just pick at it, or I just have a quick boiled egg, and that'll give me a really good boost of sustained energy that will keep me going till dinner time. Bar of chocolate, a pack of chips, some nice biscuits, they don't sustain your energy. So that's always eat protein or fat with every meal. Number 2 is don't snack on a carbohydrate. If you want to have treats, sweets, chocolates, have them after a meal. And if you want to snack between meals, it must be a protein or a good fat. And the last thing to leave you with, that a lot of people are shocked and horrified when I tell them, is be very careful of fruit. Fruit is very good for you. It's, so nutritious, but fruit converts into fructose quickly, and it's a lovely little sugar rush for your body, which, if you are struggling with your energy, you do not need any sugar rushes. You need nice, sustained sugar. So if you want to eat fruit, eat a little bit with a protein or fat again. Don't snack on it. I see this a lot with kids who are struggling with energy or mood swings or concentration problems when they're brought to my clinic. They often have problems with their blood sugars, and their parents are doing the best that they can, and they're packing lovely lunch boxes full of fruit as their kids' mid-morning snack. All you're really doing is sending their blood sugars up, and then they'll drop later. And a flavored yogurt is exactly the same. You send blood sugars up, they'll drop later. So what you want to do is, if you want your child to have a fruit at school, then they should have something with that fruit. I know nuts are not a great thing to send to school. If you homeschool your kids, give them fruit and nuts. But maybe you could make a nice little healthy muffin, a paleo muffin. So Google paleo muffin recipes. There's thousands of really nice recipes of how to the paleo diet is lovely. If you're having a problem with your blood sugars, just Google paleo diet, paleo recipes, because they're grain free. So you don't have any problems with gluten, and they tend to be sugar free as well. So you can make delicious snacks for your kids that don't give them a horrible sugar rush. If you are South African and you eat biltong, in Australia they call it jerky. I don't know what it's called in the rest of the world, but it's like dried meat. That's a lovely snack again to keep your blood sugars normal. So all of these are on my list that you can download. But avoid fruit by itself, very important. Okay, so that's it. If you want to have sustained continual energy, if you want to avoid your energy crashing during the day, if you want to avoid a lot of mood swings, especially, I can always tell when my kids are having a sugar low. They come home from school. I can see whether they've eaten a good lunch or not at school, because if they come home and they're irritable and they're grumpy, then I know that their energy's dropped. I'm the same. I get very grumpy. I get irritable. I get snappish, and my memory just goes, and I get brain fog when my blood sugars are low. And so you want to avoid these sugar lows. The best way to avoid them is never eat carbohydrates by themselves, period. Don't eat fruit by itself. And download my list. Eat your good fats, your good proteins, and some good snacks. Okay, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments and I will answer them for you. I'm also every Monday at 4 p.m. Perth time, that's Australian Western Standard Time. Mondays at 4, I'm going to be live on Facebook as of today, actually. I'm going to be live on Facebook every week, and I can answer questions. You can come on live and ask questions, or you can just put them in the comments below. Thanks for listening and have a great week, and I'll chat again next week. Bye.